Mr. Johari, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit like shorter, you can
A
say,
little bit
because
much
you
shorter,
are,
oh, for sure. Okay, no
because you
worries.
are, no, 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 you have, as you said, you have a lot of history behind you. So if you
Yes,
can just share with us, that would be great. Thank you.
no worries. First of all, greeting to you, and thank you for the opportunity to join you for this event today. Majid Jowhari. I was born in Iran, in Tehran, back in, I think, October 24th of 1960. I'm about 61 year old, married for 31 years, two kids, 27 girl, and 22 years old is my son. I have about the 30 years of history and background in both industry and management consulting. Got into politics in 2015. Prior to that, I was quite engaged during the early 80s to early to late 80s in a lot of community-based activities, as well as helping students and doing a lot of cultural events. Very much into nature. I love fishing, hiking, biking, canoeing, and I also love cooking. I'm a small chef at home. I tend not to ruin too many foods, but here you go.
Is it Persian food or all kind of food?
I Persian food, I actually will say that I'm good in making all kind of kebabs,
Okay.
and rice is not probably one of my specialties, but I would say I dabble in all kind of foods. I've been in Canada for about 42 years, so you learn how to cook all kind of foods with any ingredients you can find around the house.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So my next
No
question, I'm going to
worries.
ask you first in English, and then we can switch
Okay,
to Farsi.
sure.
So in your opinion, what is the importance of art and culture when an immigrant come to a new countries and they bring all the art and culture with them? What is
Yeah.
the importance of it?
Well, that I think that's a great question because I believe there are a number of things that really gives you the identity, and actually where you're born, which in Farsi we call it khak, your language, in Farsi we call it zaban, in your culture, farhang, and also the values or arzeshhay insan ha. These are the ones that gives you your identity, your hobiyat. So I think what's importance of culture and art in a society, especially for those newcomers, is about preserving it and also promoting it. So when you want to get to know about someone, you get to know them through their identity. And those are the five or six pillars that I talked about. But arts and culture is something that everybody embrace and everybody is very much interested to get to know. And I think that's a really a good, easy segue for communities to connect.
My next question is, how can you as a politician support culture and art from other countries, like especially from Persian
Yeah.
countries?
Uh, first and foremost, we can support them. So, by participating through events like that, by making sure that we take the leadership in attending events and promoting events. So it is, I believe, through active participation, through active leadership, through active um, promotion of these events. You could, and highlighting it, you can actually help support as a politician or as a leader in any, or a representative in any area. I mean, politicians have their own role, but if you're a representative of an entity, you could also play the same role.
My next question for you is, what is the primary role of culture and art between two communities, between new immigrants and other citizens? Like, we want to see that what is this, the primary role that they can connect together, like as a newcomer and other citizens?
Well, as a newcomer, first and foremost, if you remember those pillars that we talked about, language, um, once we start adopting the language that's common to Canada, for example, either English or French, and we be able to start communicating in that language and promoting the art and culture and
Mhm.
bring life to different, values, that we as immigrants bring to Canada, it will help, help us also integrate better. So, for example, when we talk about Nowruz and we talk about Hafseen, and then we talked about each elements at the table of Hafseen and what it's signifies, and how is it embedded in culture, and how is it survived many years of challenges in our history and culture.
Mhm.
It brings meaning to what our culture and values are.
Great. And like I have another question. I'm going to go combine it together.
Sure,
Is
sure.
as a new immigrant when they just move to a new country, they cannot participate in a lot of things that they've used to do when they were in their home country. Like because financially they can't. Like when they were in their home country, maybe they could arrange to go to like movies, to do like museum everywhere, but when moved to other countries, it's so hard for them. What is your opinion? What do you think that like a new country can do for them so they can participate more and more in this kind of art and culture or whatever it's their passion?
When you say it's hard for them to participate, I'm not sure whether you consider it as a barrier because it's a financial barrier, or it's the availability. Because the lack of participation is one's ability to be able to participate, then having the opportunity to participate, the other one having the financial security to be able to participate. We are fortunate in Canada that the Iranian community, Iranian Canadian community, has benefited from a tremendous growth over the
Mhm.
last, at least over the last, when I look at it, over the last 42 years, that there are many organizations and that now there are in taking leadership in promoting culture and going to some extent, even some of them going international, as what you are doing right now, your organization is doing. So there's an aspect of availability, and we've seen that over the last 40 years, at least since I've been in Canada, that availability has grown.
Mhm.
Especially in the last 10 to 15 years, we've seen the rate of growth of those events and um, those opportunities has grown in a much more rapid way for a number of reasons. And the rate of immigration of Iranians from various parts of the world, especially Iran, to Canada has increased. And also, I would say that they're in a good financial position, or relatively good financial position, to be able to not only participate but also help promote. And the environment that's in Canada also allows for from a lot more freedom of expression and freedom of participation, and this is something that has also helped growth of the culture and art. One of the challenges that we have is some of the artists and some of the cultural icons, especially on the arts, especially on the fine arts, have not been able to really find the solid root in Canada. And
Mhm.
that's, to me, it's really the challenge or the next phase of growth that we really need to experience.
Thank you so much. So, as a politician, man, what is your suggestion and how you can support the international school that they are coming here for, like academic or scientific, and how they can just grow in the academic part and scientific when they are graduated?
That's a great question. This is something that I can totally relate to. What you see is, for those international students who arrive in Canada, and actually they've had an acceptance letter from one of the credible universities or educational institution in Canada. Having said that, once they've mastered the language, what we have seen over, at least over the last 40 years, or last 20 years specifically, those international students have proven to be formidable, have proven to be thought leaders, have proven to be great innovators, great researchers, especially when they're doing their master's, doc, postdoc, and there are very well sought after, and that in itself provides an opportunity for them to be able to find a path to permanent residency and finally citizenship. and establish roots the same way I did in Canada. So as a government, we do realize, as a government and the philosophy within Canada, we realize multiculturalism is important. We also realize that we want to make sure that those who choose to get their education in Canada and want to stay, they have a path for citizenship and establishing their root. So our government, the federal government, the federal liberal government, is very much committed to um, giving the opportunity to international students who come here, if they choose to ask for permanent residency or have a path, there is a well-defined path for them.
Great, thank you so much. So what is your opinion as a politician that the people like us, that we are active in like Persian awards, like the community of Persia? Sorry, I missed one question. That's why I was like, the question before this, I have to ask and then ask this question.
Sure.
So how can the importance of culture and artistic and scientific awards in the community can help to empower the culture and arts? Some kind of like awards like Persian awards.
Yeah. You see, any type of recognition and any type of engagement will help um, educate the broader Canadians and also educate us, because one got to understand that, first of all, we are a very, very new, um, let's say, immigrants, a generation of immigrants to Canada. The fact, that really our core of immigration started about probably 20, 25 years ago. So when you look at the history of other immigrants, whether it's the Chinese or whether it's Italian or whether other ex-Canadians, what you'll see is that we're very young in our migration to Canada. But yet, what you see is that despite that those short time, we've been very much accomplished in almost all the fields. And this goes back to the values that we talk about, and how eager we are not only to integrate into the society, but also impact in a very positive way. And when you look at it, it is that desire that's going to be able to help. And when you help events like this, when you help events that we get to present, whether it's culture, whether it's our scientific finding, whether it's our art, not only we educate and we assimilate better, but also, or integrate better, but also what we help to do is we help bring Iranian Canadians together, because Canada is the second largest country in the world. As you know, the concentration of Iranian is between like Southern Ontario, which is like GTHA, some in Montreal, some in Quebec, a little bit probably in the East Coast, some in the central Canada, and a lot in BC. Events like this also helps bringing Iranian Canadians together and be aware of what's happening in this beautiful land.
Great. That was a great answer. Thank you. So, what is your opinion as a politician about people like us that we are working for Persian Awards volunteering, and we want to show the culture and art from Persia to every like global? What is your opinion about
Yeah.
us? I can say.
Well, it's deep thankfulness. I
Thank you.
really want to thank you, your organization, your members, for really taking the leadership in doing this. Volunteerism is at the core of what Canada is all about. When you come in, a lot of newcomers come in, and the easiest way for you to be able to learn the language, aside from going to your English as a second language classes, etc., is really embracing volunteerism. So when you see volunteerism as in the core and the value of Canada, you also see how it's important for people like you, people, your colleagues, especially the younger generation, who may either have come here at the early ages, and they get involved. Not only they get to know the culture, but they also get to understand um, what really the Persian culture and Persian value and art and is so they can go ahead and talk about it with their friends and talk about it with their colleagues and promote it and get them involved.
Mhm.
So it is commendable. And once again, volunteerism is at the core of what being a Canadian is all about, and especially at the core of our culture, which is the Persian culture. Often we talk about giving to or lending a supporting hands to a lot of people, and that nature of volunteerism is embedded in our culture at the earliest stages. Whether we help a friend, or we help grandma, get something, or we go and help somebody. It that sense of volunteerism, which is in itself a help, is much valued.
Great.
So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. So, Mr. Johari, what is you know that one of the most important part of empower the culture and art is just working as a team with other communities. So, in your opinion, what should be done to work more with other communities to just show our culture to them and get their culture, like it's like a conjunction teamwork?
Yeah. So look at it this way. The best example I can give you is, as you're brought up, you feel that you learn something from your aunt, you learn something from aside from your parents, you learn from your family members, you learn from your neighbor, you learn from, your educational institution, etc., etc. The beauty of actually being very proactive in learning and sharing with other communities is that you learn from their successes, and you also learn from the challenges that they face. As you know, there are some communities that they've been in Canada, some ethnical community that's been in Canada for a very, very long time. Whether there are faith-based communities, or their cultural-based community, or ethnic-based community, they've gone the path that we're going. We are
Mhm.
proud that despite the fact that we've been here in Canada for 20, 25 years, and in my case, 42 years once again, we've kind of fast forwarded that. But,
Mhm.
as you run, you may miss something. So the collaboration between various culture not only allows them to get to know about our culture, we learn about their culture. It helps us live in harmony, in peace, and in safety. Because once you learn somebody's culture, once you learn somebody's values, and you really engage in a very meaningful way with them, and they sense that you're appreciating them for their uniqueness, that in itself brings the peace and brings the harmony that what Canada is known for. And this is in itself is a blessing.
Great. Yeah, that's really, really important to have it. So thank you for that. Uh, what is your idea about like the role of local media to just show more like about the culture, show more about like this event, like they have a role. What do you think about them?
We all, as you know, we're in the midst of dealing with COVID-19, and everybody's almost glued to the media. So media is the channel for us to be able to communicate, give update, and engage people, mobilize people, and bring people together
Mhm.
for a good common cause. Especially the local media, and especially the ethnic media, play a huge role in this. And why? Because they're uniquely positioned to understand the challenges or the uniqueness of their locality, as well as the uniqueness of the culture, and understanding how to represent that culture. So local ethnic media play a huge role in not only educating, but also engaging, and then later on mobilizing other communities in being able to learn and support events like
Kind
such as yours.
like, thank you so much. My last question. So what is your opinion that some kind of like production companies can produce more cultural and artist products? What steps should be done so those production companies is just engaged to produce more products?
Well, it's the bottom line of it is it's the it's a balance between demand and supply. So, and the matter of wanting to support. So when you look at it, in Canada, especially in this field, I believe we have a lot of talent, such as yours, and a lot of capable organizations, such as your organization that you're representing. Now, with that capability being in there, now what we need to be able to have the financial support to help it sustain and grow. These financial supports come from a number of locations, but a number of sources. But the most important source that it comes from the community. When the services and the offering that is being given is in high demand, or is demanded, or perceived valuable, then the participation in there and support will help production companies, produce the quality um, a program that's needed to serve the need of the community. Um, this is really the core of what needs to be considered. What type of quality programs will resonate with the Iranian Canadian community, especially the younger generation. And I highly emphasize the younger generation, because those are the ones that they are almost becoming multilingual and multicultural, and they constantly work hard to reconcile between their roots and their root culture and the Canadian culture. So anything that will be able to heavily resonate with them, because these are the leaders of today and the source of future financial support for production companies, and finding the material or developing the program that truly resonates with them. Not only it helps, it fosters their involvement, but it also fosters their support. Naturally, the government of Canada is also helping multiculturalism. There's a lot of program that's helping arts and culture, especially ethnic arts and culture in Canada, because that's really what the core of Canada is all about. So
So that's possible, and
that, oh,
it's,
absolutely is
yeah.
possible. If you're looking for a word possible, yes, it's possible.
We just need to find a path, right? And the
I
right
think I
person.
think I think you're well in on your path, and you definitely have the right person. I think it comes to the educating the community and offering the services and the program that they really resonate and they need. I mean, these
Mhm.
productions could be educating someone in how to, become a active citizen, or active, civic citizen, or how to, where you go and get your, ESL, or how to, the core for the immigrants, specifically the ones that you're talking about, that you really need to make sure that you're servicing their core needs, such as settlements, such as their equivalency, getting their
Mhm.
education certificates, making sure that they find a job. So there is a lot of programs that could be produced to be able to educate and help soft land the new immigrants, whether they're the ones that they're coming permanent residents, or the same advocacy that you're doing for the international students.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It was honor to talking to you, Mr. Johari. Honestly,
Thank you
I've
very
learned a
much.
lot.
Well, I've learned, actually, I've learned a lot about what needs to be done by the questions that you've asked. So thank you very much. I know we met before. We had a kind of quick meeting before this couple of weeks ago, and that was a great opportunity to get to know you, get to know the organization, the great work that you are doing and the organization is doing, and where the passion lies. And that's very important in making sure that, as I call it, that genuine, meaningful engagement is done. When people see it, they'll come and support it. And I'm sure, you, me, as a civil servant, as somebody who's in a position to be able to serve the people, I've had this opportunity is great. Your team has made it a lot of investment in making this time available, so that should also be acknowledged. Your vision, your thought leadership, the organization should be acknowledged, and the work of the volunteers and so many, members of your studios. All of those times are very important. Should, especially the tolerance and the patience that you have. Politicians usually talk a lot.
No way. No, 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 no. That was not the case. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much again. And with Mr. Johari, I'm just saying goodbye to all of you that you were watching us.